This is as far as I got with my belt sander build in my last video. My intention had been, when I want to use it as an edge belt sander, I'd flip it around and then flip it over, and that way I still have the controls at the top and I can get the belt off towards the top. But the problem with that is, now the belt is moving this way, which might be hard to get used to, and the dust port moves to the other side, which is a real problem in terms of running the hose. So I figure a better method would be to just flip it down like this, but that puts the controls towards the bottom. So I want to move the controls on this side because having the controls on the back while using it normally really isn't a problem. The belt tensioning mechanism works quite well, and I could just flip it over to put the knob on the other side, and the tracking I just have the knob on the other side of the shaft. But this tracking mechanism is actually not ideal because it has a little bit of play in it, and I always have to turn a little bit past where I need to go, so it takes some back and forth to adjust it. Also, there's a bit of friction in here that needs to be overcome. So ideally I would have this always say pushing in one direction, so that as soon as I let go of the knob a little bit, it moves back. And so I've come up with a modified tensioning design where I've got the threaded rod pulling here, and this is applying force asymmetrically, and then I'll have a screw that pulls it this way, and that way the tracking should be much more responsive. But because the tracking is actually going to change the tension a little bit with the asymmetric load, I also have these wooden springs in here to make it have a little bit of give. With the belt partway on there, I can figure out where the normal position of the roller is. Put that down. These two strips of wood are going to form my wooden belt tension spring, and then that goes through here to make sure it doesn't fall off. And then we have this part here, pushes against here again with a hole in it to keep the strip from falling off. And then the tension knob pulls through here. So that means right here, I'll move it a little bit. This is a good position for the belt tension lever, making sure this bolt is parallel. And I may have to shorten this one just a little bit. The tracking adjust knob is going to come through here, lined up here, so I'm going to have to carve a slot in here for that to go through, because it has to move side to side and drill a hole in here. Now the other thing I want to do is simplify this design a bit. I had this part here to help hold this in place, but I've realized if I just put a bolt and a washer here, I'll have plenty of room for adjustment right there. Oops. Now with no longer having a part that goes on here, I'm just going to glue a couple of pieces of wood on here so it doesn't look like there's anything missing. I'm also covering up the holes that I have on the front so that you can't tell that the design was different at some point. These discs are on the shaft pretty tight, so I'm not sure if a keyway is really necessary, but I'm just going to put a finishing nail into the slot that I cut earlier, trying to get that in without damaging the shaft. I guess this is as far as it'll go in. So after getting the tracking right in this direction, it's useful to check it in the other direction, because if it doesn't track the same way, then there's twist in the rollers. And I can see it's going this way, and that tells me the roller is too high on this side. I need to lower this side because they're not exactly on plane right now. Because if I go forward again, it puts it back on center. With the belt taken off and just looking over it like this, I can see that that roller is a tiny bit higher here. I've got a tiny piece of wood veneer here, and I just put a little bit of glue stick on there. That will hold it in place. And now I'll just jam that in there, and hopefully that'll fix the alignment issue. This is wandering to the side way too quickly now. I may have over-adjusted or something. Yeah, I think that piece of veneer was overcompensating. It's now misaligned the other way around. So this piece of veneer was 0.6 millimeters, and this piece of PupCan shim is 0.3. And hopefully that will get things close enough. That's looking better. It's tracking a little bit off going backwards, but not as bad as it was before, so I'll call that close enough. The cool thing is, even though this bit is a little bit wobbly, once it finds the divot, it just goes for it. Just right to countersink a number 4 screw. I'm adding a very small countersink because the fibers of the wood often lift where the screw goes in. With the tracking problems I've had, every time the belt goes too far this way, it starts grinding into the wood, and to prevent the sander from cutting itself apart, I added these two metal plates to catch the sandpaper. And I'll call it a day at this point. In my next video, I'll build a base so I can use this as an edge belt sander.